The moment she drove into the village, the entire community froze. A white Mzungu lady in a luxury car, alone, looking for a mechanic in the middle of a dusty Nigerian village. No one knew why she came, and no one expected what would happen next. This encounter would ignite a love story full of danger, secrets, and impossible choices. The sun hung mercilessly over Umuaka village, making the red dust roads shimmer with heat. Chidi was bent over the engine of a motorcycle, grease-stained hands moving with practiced precision. The air was heavy, thick with the smell of burning oil and hot metal. Just as he was tightening the last bolt, the high-pitched scream of brakes tore through the village. A white Lexus Jeep skidded violently down the road, kicking up clouds of dust. Children scattered, goats ran in every direction, and villagers jumped to safety. The car veered straight toward Chidi's small mechanic kiosk, knocking over a rusty metal stand and stopping inches from his foot. Chidi froze, wrench in hand, eyes wide but calm. The door of the Lexus swung open, and out stepped a white Mzungu lady, tall and elegant. Her blonde hair was tangled in the heat and sweat, sunglasses slipped down her nose, and her designer boots sank slightly into the dirt. Her face was flushed with panic, hands shaking as she scanned the surroundings. "Please. Somebody fix this car before I lose my mind," she shouted, her accent crisp, foreign, but laced with fear. Chidi blinked, straightening slowly. "You want me to fix it, or just scream at me?" he asked, calm as ever, stepping closer. His hands were still greasy, but his gaze was steady. The woman froze, surprise flickering across her face. Nobody had ever spoken to her like that before. I'm just stressed. I've had the worst day of my life," she admitted, her voice softening. Chidi nodded once, barely moving his lips. "Pop the hood." She hesitated, then pressed the button. The hood lifted, and a thick puff of white smoke burst out. She jumped back with a scream. "It's not going to explode," Chidi said, smirking slightly. "Just radiator heat. Happens all the time." She stared at him, disbelief in her eyes. He bent over the engine, hands moving fast and sure, adjusting pipes, tightening bolts, and wiping away grime. She watched him, fascinated by his confidence and focus. "How do you even know what you're doing?" she whispered. "Because this is my life," he said. "Every day, morning, afternoon, night." Minutes passed. The smoke dissipated, and Chidi wiped his hands on a cloth. He straightened and gestured toward the ignition. "Try it now," he said. She climbed into the car, hands trembling slightly, and turned the key. The engine roared to life smoothly, like it had never had a problem at all. Her jaw dropped. "You fixed it? That fast?" "No magic," he replied. "Just skill. And hustle." She laughed softly, nervously, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Hustle? You make it sound so easy." He shrugged. "It's never easy. But this is what I do." Her blue eyes studied him, taking in the grease stains, the calm expression, the strength in his hands. For a moment, everything else disappeared, the heat, the dust, the shouting villagers. Before they could speak further, a loud horn blasted through the village. A black Prado rolled into view, engine growling aggressively. A tall, muscular man jumped out, scanning the village like a predator. "Miss Amanda. Where are you?" "Who is this man?" the bodyguard shouted. Chidi remained calm, folding his arms. Amanda turned to him. "He fixed my car," she said firmly. "You can thank him instead of acting like I'm missing." The bodyguard's eyes narrowed, sizing Chidi up. Chidi didn't flinch. Amanda climbed back into the car, muttering, "Thank you, for everything." She pressed the ignition. The Lexus purred smoothly, leaving a cloud of dust behind her. Chidi picked up his wrench, chest tight, watching the car disappear down the red dust road. He didn't understand why the sight of her leaving left an ache in his chest. That night, Amanda lay awake in her luxurious Lagos apartment. She couldn't stop thinking about the mechanic, the calm confidence, the steady hands, the dark eyes that seemed to look straight through her. By morning, she had made a decision. She would return. The next day, she came back. Alone. No security, no entourage. Just herself and the white Lexus. The villagers stared, whispering, pointing fingers. Children ran to peek. Old men shook their heads in disbelief. Chitty was bent over a motorcycle engine when she drove slowly past. She stepped out of the car with careful, deliberate movements, brushing her blonde hair from her face. Chitty looked up and noticed subtle changes. Her stance was more confident, her eyes more determined. "Morning," she said softly. "Morning," he replied, standing upright. He didn't comment on her arrival, though his heart thumped faster than usual. She watched him work for a few minutes, noticing the precision of his movements, the calm control in his gestures, the quiet focus that made him seem larger than life. You work here every day?" she asked, trying to mask the curiosity in her voice. He glanced at her briefly. "Every day. Sometimes night too. Why are you back?" She hesitated. "I wanted to see you. And maybe apologize for yelling yesterday." Chitty raised an eyebrow. "You almost destroyed my tools. Don't tell me you're apologizing for that." "I'm apologizing for how I acted. I didn't expect you." Chitty shook his head slowly. "No wallah. But if you're going to come back, don't make a habit of nearly killing my tools." She laughed, soft and genuine, the kind of laugh that made the cicadas quiet and the villagers stare. For the next few days, she returned again. Not for car problems, it never broke down again. She came to see him. They walked through the village, shared cola nuts at Mama Nkechi's small stall, laughed with children, and ignored the stares of the villagers. Chitty noticed things he shouldn't have, how her eyes lingered on his hands as he worked, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, how she laughed when he teased her. Amanda noticed him too, the calm way he spoke, the confidence in his movements, the quiet humility that made her world of luxury feel shallow. But trouble came fast. Word reached Lagos. Her father, a wealthy man with money and influence that could own the entire village twice over, arrived with a small team of private security. He stormed the village, furious that his daughter was spending time with a local mechanic. "Amanda! What are you doing here? Who is this boy?" he roared, marching into the garage. Chitty stepped back, hands raised slightly. Calm. Silent. Respectful, but unafraid. "He fixed my car, sir," Amanda said quickly. "That's all." Her father's face reddened with anger. "You're leaving. Now." Amanda looked at Chitty. His eyes were steady, unwavering. She whispered, "I'm not leaving." Her father shouted louder, but she didn't budge. She turned to Chitty one last time. "I'll explain everything later," she said softly. He nodded, understanding more than words could convey. As her father led her away, Chitty's chest felt heavy, though he couldn't explain why. He watched as the dust settled, the sun reflected off her car, and she disappeared down the red dust road. Neither of them slept that night. And both knew, without saying it aloud, that this was only the beginning. The following morning, the village of Amuaka buzzed with whispers. Amanda's return the previous day had sent ripples through every corner of the dusty community. Children pointed, elders shook their heads, and women whispered to each other about the Oyinbo lady who dared to walk into a mechanic's life. Chitty wiped his hands on a rag, bending over a motorcycle engine as usual. He felt eyes on him, but he didn't look up. He had learned to ignore gossip, but somehow, her presence made it impossible. A sudden screech of tires drew his attention. He glanced up and saw the white Lexus creeping along the road, dust trailing behind it. Amanda stepped out with the same deliberate grace, this time without panic. Her hair fell over her shoulders, blonde strands shining under the hot Nigerian sun. She carried a small bag, and in her hands, a bottle of water she had bought from the kiosk nearby. "Good morning," she said softly, smiling at him. Chitty wiped his hands again. "Morning." He didn't move from his place, though his chest felt tight. Amanda approached slowly, careful to avoid the villagers who were now gathering like spectators. She spoke quietly, almost conspiratorially. "I didn't bring security this time," she said. "I wanted to see you, without all the fuss." Chitty raised an eyebrow. "And the whole village watching us, you call that fuss-free?" She laughed. It was light, playful, and for a moment, it silenced the murmurs around them. She handed him the bottle of water. "Here," she said. "For your hard work." He accepted it, nodding slightly. "Thanks." He drank slowly, watching her from the corner of his eye. She didn't look like anyone who belonged here, yet there she was, walking among dirt, dust, and tools like it was normal. "Why did you really come back?" he asked finally. Amanda hesitated. She bit her lower lip. "Because I can't stop thinking about you." Chitty froze, the wrench in his hand still in mid-motion. He hadn't expected that. Not from a woman like her. "You, what?" he asked slowly. "I can't explain it," she admitted. "I don't know why, but I feel safe here. And with you. It's crazy, I know, but it's real." Chitty shook his head. "You're Oyinbo. Rich. You live in Lagos with people who probably worship your every step. Why are you here? In a village, with a mechanic?" Amanda didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked around at the village, the children playing in the dust, the women chatting under the sun, the old men shaking their heads in disapproval. Then she turned back to him, eyes earnest. "Because I want to be here. With you," she said firmly. Chitty's heart raced. He wanted to speak, to ask her if she really understood the risks, the complications, but before he could, a voice cut through the morning air. "Amanda. What do you think you're doing?" Her father had arrived. Richard Harrison, a tall man in a perfectly pressed suit, stepped out of a black SUV, flanked by two security men. His face was red with anger. Chitty stepped back, instinctively wiping his hands on a rag. Amanda sighed, her shoulders slumping. "Dad, please." Richard glared at Chitty. "And you, who are you? How dare you waste my daughter's time?" Chitty's expression remained calm, but his jaw tightened. "Sir, I just fixed her car." Richard's nostrils flared. "You think that makes you important? She's coming home with me now, end of story." Amanda shook her head. "No. I'm not going anywhere. Not yet." Richard's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes," she said quietly, meeting his gaze without fear. "I know who you are. But that doesn't mean I have to do everything you say." Chitty's eyes widened slightly. He had never seen anyone confront him like that, let alone her father, a man who clearly wielded power like a weapon. Richard took a step closer. "Amanda, enough of this nonsense. Get in the car, now." Amanda stood firm. "I'm staying. With him." The villagers had gathered, watching the drama unfold. Whispers filled the air, "She's braver than we thought. This will end badly." Richard's face turned redder. "You are coming home now, or I will make sure you regret it." Amanda glanced at Chitty, her eyes pleading. "Stay calm." Chitty nodded, understanding more than she could say. He stepped forward, his voice steady but firm. "Sir, she is an adult. She can make her own choices. I don't want trouble. I just want to fix things, that's all." Richard laughed bitterly. "Fix things? This is bigger than your little shop and your little skills, boy. This is my family, my money, my rules. Amanda stepped closer to Chitty, holding his arm lightly. I'm not afraid of him, she said. Richard's jaw tightened, and for a moment, it seemed like he might step closer. But then he paused, looking at his daughter, realizing her determination. He turned to the security men. Fine. But I'm watching. Any nonsense, and you'll regret it. Amanda exhaled slowly, relief washing over her. Thank you. Chitty nodded, though his heart still pounded in his chest. He had never been in a situation like this, protecting someone from a man of unimaginable wealth, someone used to getting whatever they wanted. For the next few days, Amanda continued to visit Chitty's shop. They walked through the village, helping with small chores, laughing with children, and slowly getting to know each other beyond words. Chitty discovered she wasn't just wealthy, she was kind, clever, and surprisingly grounded. Amanda discovered that Chitty was more than just a mechanic, he was strong, intelligent, and principled, the kind of man who could command respect without raising his voice. But their peace didn't last long. Rumors began to spread, and jealousy brewed in the village. A young woman named Ifyananya, who had been interested in Chitty for years, started spreading lies about him and Amanda. She told the villagers that he was only using her, that the Mzunga lady would leave eventually, and that Chitty was greedy. Amanda overheard some of the whispers and confronted Chitty. Is any of this true? She asked, her voice trembling. Chitty shook his head. Nothing. I've never lied to you. I've never used you. Amanda's eyes filled with tears. I believe you. This is all so complicated. It doesn't have to be, Chitty said softly. We just take it one day at a time. But complications were coming. Richard Harrison had not left the village entirely. He had his private eyes watching every move Amanda made. And Ifyananya had allies in the village who were willing to make life difficult for them both. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Chitty and Amanda sat on the steps of his shop, watching the sky turn orange. I shouldn't be here, Amanda said quietly. Chitty shook his head. Don't say that. You're here. That's what matters. She leaned on his shoulder. I know, but I feel like the entire world is against us. Chitty placed a hand over hers. Then we fight together. You and me. She smiled softly, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. For the first time, the village didn't seem intimidating. For the first time, she felt like she belonged. But deep inside, both of them knew the fight had just begun. The jealousy, the lies, and her father's influence were shadows looming over them, ready to strike at any moment. And neither of them were prepared for what was coming next. The following morning, Bomuaka village stirred as if it sensed the storm coming. Chitty was already at his garage, bent over a rusty motorcycle engine, when a cloud of dust appeared in the distance. Amanda had returned once more, alone, walking toward him with purposeful steps. Her blonde hair glimmered in the morning sun, and her light blue eyes scanned the village, wary of every lingering gaze. Chitty straightened as she approached. He felt a strange mix of relief and tension, the same tension that had gripped him every time she was near. Morning, she said softly, handing him a small bottle of water. Morning, he replied, nodding. He noticed the subtle worry in her expression. Something was different today. Amanda leaned closer. Chitty, we need to talk. Chitty put down his wrench and gestured toward the edge of the shop. Away from the crowd. She nodded. They walked a few meters, the dirt crunching beneath their feet, the village alive with whispers. Children peeked from corners, elders shook their heads, and the gossip spread like wildfire. Amanda stopped. My father, he's planning something. He didn't leave the village entirely. He's watching every move I make. Chitty's brow furrowed. I thought he left after last week. She shook her head. He never leaves. He sent more men. They're hiding, observing. He wants me back in Lagos, permanently this time. And if I resist, her voice faltered. I don't know what he might do. Chitty felt a surge of protectiveness. Then we have to be careful. I'll handle this. I promise. Amanda smiled faintly but didn't speak further. She didn't want to worry him more. By mid-morning, rumors had reached the market. Villagers whispered about Amanda's return, and Ifeanyi's jealousy had grown into something dangerous. She spread lies about Chitty, claiming he was only after Amanda's wealth and that the Mzungu lady would leave eventually, leaving him humiliated. Some villagers began to avoid Chitty's shop, while others whispered behind his back. Chitty ignored them. He had learned to block out gossip, but Amanda's presence made it impossible. Every time she laughed, every time she looked at him, he felt like the world outside the village didn't matter. That evening, Chitty and Amanda sat outside his shop, watching the sky turn a deep shade of orange. I can't stay here forever, Amanda said quietly, hugging her knees. Why not? Chitty asked, voice calm but firm. Because my father, he won't let me. And this village, it's not safe. People talk, they judge, and I can't bring you into all of that. Chitty took her hand gently. I don't care about what people say. I care about you. And I'll face anything for you. She leaned on his shoulder, silently grateful, but the sense of impending danger lingered. The following day, Chitty was working on a car engine when a black SUV rolled into the village. From the vehicle emerged a man in a sharp suit, followed by two security men. Amanda tensed. Chitty, she whispered, fear in her eyes. The man walked directly toward them. His name was Richard Harrison, second-in-command, sent to ensure Amanda returned safely. He had orders to remove Chitty from the equation. Chitty stood, wiping his hands on a rag. Can I help you? He asked, calm but ready. The man's lips curled into a cold smile. You're the mechanic, right? Amanda's father doesn't approve of your friendship. You'll have to leave. Permanently. Chitty's jaw tightened. I have no intention of leaving. The man's eyes narrowed. Then you're in trouble. Before a confrontation could escalate, Amanda stepped forward. He's done nothing wrong. I choose to stay. The man's face darkened. You don't get to choose. He has no right to be near you. Chitty took a deep breath. I have every right to be near her. We're not just strangers. And I won't be intimidated. The tension was thick. Villagers watched silently, sensing the danger. Some whispered, others stepped back. Amanda's eyes welled with tears. Chitty, be careful. I always am, he said quietly, gripping her hand tightly. The man glared but didn't act further. He retreated, clearly frustrated, and drove away, leaving the village in uneasy silence. That night, Chitty and Amanda sat together outside his shop, under the stars. The tension had not left them, but they found comfort in each other's presence. You could leave, Amanda whispered. I could, Chitty replied. But I won't. Not you. Not now. Amanda leaned into him. I wish it was that simple. My father, he will stop at nothing. Chitty held her close. Then we fight. Together. Days passed, and the village began to feel the pressure of Amanda's presence. Ifeanyi's jealousy turned to sabotage. One morning, Chitty discovered his tools had been tampered with, some of the motorcycles in his shop damaged. Villagers whispered about him losing his skills, spreading doubts. Amanda was furious. This is why people say we shouldn't be here. But I don't care about them. I care about you. Chitty shook his head. We can't let them win. We have to focus on what matters. Us. And the truth. They worked together, repairing the motorcycles, helping villagers, slowly rebuilding trust. Amanda's charm and determination began to win over some of the skeptical villagers. Children followed her, women smiled, and elders began to nod in cautious approval. But even as their bond grew, Amanda's father was plotting. In Lagos, he arranged for more security, hired private investigators, and began sending messages to Chidi, warning him to leave Amanda alone. The letters arrived in the village, delivered by men pretending to be couriers. Chidi read the messages quietly. "He thinks threats will work," he said, crumpling the paper. "They won't." Amanda's hands shook as she watched him. "I'm scared. What if he does something worse?" Chidi pulled her close. "Then we face it together. Nothing will break us." One afternoon, as they walked through the village to fetch water, a group of men appeared, led by Ifeanyi. She had gathered a few of the more gullible villagers and confronted them. "You're all fools," she shouted. "Do you see what he's doing? Using a Mzungu lady to make himself look good. You think this will last? She will leave. And when she does, he'll be nothing." The villagers murmured, unsure what to believe. Amanda's hands trembled. Chidi stepped forward. "Listen to me," he said firmly. "I don't care about wealth or status. I care about Amanda. And I won't let lies control our lives." The crowd fell silent. Even Ifeanyi hesitated, seeing the calm authority in his eyes. Amanda stepped forward, her voice steady. "And I choose to be here. With him. Because he's honest, kind, and brave. Unlike you, who spreads lies to satisfy jealousy." The villagers exchanged looks. Slowly, whispers shifted. Some began to nod, understanding her words. Others remained skeptical, but Amanda's determination had made a difference. That evening, Chidi and Amanda sat outside the garage, exhausted but determined. "We're making progress," Chidi said quietly. Amanda leaned against him. "Yes, but it feels like a war. Every day there's a new challenge. My father, Ifeanyi, the villagers, everything." Chidi kissed her forehead. "Then we fight. Together. No matter what comes." She closed her eyes, letting the warmth of his embrace calm her nerves. But deep down, they both knew the biggest challenges were still ahead. Amanda's father was powerful, wealthy, and determined to separate them. Ifeanyi and her allies were growing bolder. And the world beyond Amuaka loomed with threats neither of them could fully control. Yet, for the first time, they felt hope. For the first time, they felt that love, raw, unexpected, impossible, was worth the fight. And as the stars appeared over the village that night, they promised each other silently, no matter what came, they would face it together. The next day would bring even more danger. Threats from Lagos would escalate. Jealous rivals would strike. And Chidi would have to make choices that would test everything he believed in. But for now, for this moment, they were together. And that was enough.